Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to Sportsology. I am your host, Ryank. Hope everybody had a good night Tuesday night. If you played a little MLB DFS, your night ultimately came down to one thing. How much Andrew McCutchen did you play? I tweeted out yesterday afternoon that it would be a good idea to take a look at him because he was coming off of a day off. Typically, I like to look at superstars after they've had a day off of mental rest. Baseball is a mental grind. We're talking 162 games, almost 200 days long, and it's a thinking man's sport. You're always thinking about, well, what is going to come with the next pitch or what's going to go on. So it can be very mentally draining. His approach at the plate seemed to change last night, and he went yard 3 times. Playing Coors helps that, but he crushed them, so it wasn't like they weren't going to be home runs in other stadiums. Take a look at him again today, probably. Obviously, he's feeling a lot better as of right now, and that game's in Coors again tonight. So Colorado and Pittsburgh is going to be highly targeted. If you're new to the show, like I said, I'm Ryan Kostrowski. Sportsology is essentially an opportunity for me to talk about my two areas of expertise. I do technology all day long. I'm a technology advisor for a company called Enterprise Systems Group here in Wisconsin. And then I do daily fantasy sports all night long. So those are kind of the two things I do outside of hanging out with my friends and family. So I get to come on here and talk about them for a little bit. And we will start with baseball today. And I want to start about tracking your finishes and just kind of taking mental notes, at least, of where you finish in a certain contest, because that's going to be a big part to your success. For example, last night I entered two different double ups. One was a little bit larger, and I entered it earlier in the day. The cash line on that one was 125. So you needed to have a score of 125 or higher in order to double your money. On the flip side, I entered another double up very, very late on the day, right before the contest started, and the cash line on that one was only 99 and a half. I'm going to track this further. One day of analysis isn't nearly enough to go off. But my thoughts are, if this is kind of a trend, I'm thinking that maybe you get people who just come home from work last minute, want to get a lineup in so they have something to watch, but haven't had a lot of opportunity to do research. So maybe it's going to be a poorer lineup 80% of the time because it's going to be based off of very little research. I'll keep that updated and let you guys know when I find out, but I think it's a good idea for people to at least take mental note of where they finish in their contests, just to have a better idea of what you need to play. Okay, so these are the guys I'm going to target today, and I think first base already is going to be a lot of intriguing options. I'm going to start with Mark Reynolds of the Colorado Rockies going up against the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Wind is blowing right to left. That favors a right-handed hitter that he is. Jonathan Neath is the pitcher. He's a lefty. That favors the right-handed batter that he is. What also favors Reynolds is the fact that he's 8 for 15 with 2 homers in his lifetime off of John Neath. And he's only struck out a few times. Mark Reynolds strikes out a lot. He can hit the ball a long way, but man, does he swing and miss a lot. So the fact that he's only struck out off the guy 3 times, he sees the ball well off of him. So that's a good thing. You also could check out Edwin Encarnacion of the Blue Jays is very cheap again today. He's only 3,700. He's going up against Quintana, who's a quality pitcher, but he is 413 with a homer lifetime off Quintana. The other thing I like is Edwin homered last night off the Sale. The night before, he literally missed a home run by either it going foul or right off the top of the fence or very deep to the deep part of the park, like 4 different occasions. And on the Sunday, he hit the top of the fence. So the guys, a 2 homer game is coming, and tonight could be the night. I would not be surprised if this is the night Edwin Encarnacion hits 2 home runs. I love him in a tournament, especially where that price, which could be a cap saver tonight. And the other one would be Billy Butler for 3,100. And this one's going out on a limb a little bit more. Don't expect him to be highly owned. But Butler is 4 of his last 7. Doesn't mean a lot. He doesn't play a lot. A couple of those were pinch hits. So I don't take a lot off of that. But he is 34 of 84 off of Verlander. That's straight ownership. He's probably going to be in the lineup tonight because of that. And Verlander isn't as good as he used to be. So that is somebody who probably will not get very high ownership. And in a tournament, maybe he goes 3 of 5 with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs or something like that. So maybe you want to check him out. Now, with Arrieta out there today being the obvious play at pitcher, you're going to want to try to pair him with somebody that's going to leave you some cap flexibility, especially in tournaments. I like the idea of playing Nick Tropiano or however you pronounce his name from the Angels. 3 straight double-digit performances and a price below 6,000. I don't love the fact that he's playing the World Series champion Royals, but you got to take some chances in tournaments, so that might be somebody to check out. Also, you may want to give a quick little look-see to Jose Berrios, top prospect of the Minnesota Twins coming up today. 20 strikeouts and 17 innings pitched in the minors this year. When a guy comes up to the majors for the first time, and he goes against an opponent for the first time, that first matchup will typically favor the pitcher. Always going to be that way. The hitters have never seen him before. Your question is, can he get through that lineup a third time? Usually it happens a lot. The first 2 times through the lineups, he cruises through. Now the hitters have had a chance to see him a couple times, and maybe the third time through he gets roughed up. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Do you think he can get through the third time around the lineup? That'll ultimately probably kind of tell you how his day is going to go. And lastly, let's check out former Brewer Gene Segura of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Since he moved from Milwaukee to Arizona, he's been working with the hitting coach. They dropped his hands down a little bit, and now he's just hitting lasers all over the field. He actually hits Adam Wainwright very well, and Adam Wainwright has been what the kids are calling hot garbage so far this year. He just doesn't have swing and miss stuff anymore. He's only getting 2 strikeouts a game approximately, and he's been getting lit up pretty much every single start. Segura has hit him very well career-wise, so I have no reason to think that won't continue tonight. All right, let's pivot over to technology for a second, and I don't have a lot for you today. I was trying to think of what I wanted to talk about, and I actually got an email as I was trying to think of it from our security director, Tom Binish. I also brought him up yesterday. The guy knows security. He knows it very well. So I'm actually going to read the 2 lines off the email and tell you how I think people can use it. This is going to be specifically geared to schools. So, quote unquote, have you ever wondered if your cell phone camera can be used to push streaming video to the VMS server? Imagine the school resource officer or a vice principal being able to use his or her phone to capture an altercation or event on the fly, preserving video information that may have never been caught or available through normal camera placement. That is something that is being offered by Acti now, which is one of the security vendors that we work with. I think we all know there's a lot of bad things that have happened in schools lately. No reason to really get into that too much. I think we're all well aware of that. But we've moved into a relatively PC culture, which has its ups and its downs. That's not what we're here to talk about. But people are trying to keep the kids safer, and being able to capture video on the fly like that is something that's important. This could be a wonderful tool for any school district or any business in general. If you'd like more information on it, I can easily set up a time for you to speak with Tom. Just send me an email. My email is down there in the description section, and we can happily talk about it. We can talk about it then when we set it up. Besides that, have a great day. And if you have any questions on either technology or fantasy sports, don't hesitate to send me an email. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Thanks a lot. Have a great Wednesday, and talk to you soon.